Hello, 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 and welcome back to something completely different. Ladies and gentlemen, I have in fact taken up playing Hearthstone. In addition to playing a whole bunch of Netrunner, replaying Monster Hunter Generations, playing... what else have I gotten into? Oh, it's been a lot of stuff. I did a bunch of Don't Starve, and of course Married Life, so, playing nothing as well sometimes. So, it's a good all-around. But, as you may or may not know, those of you who aren't into Hearthstone, it is a collectible card game. So think Magic, and you're on the right track. It's computerized, so there's that. My collection is far from complete. I do have a whole bunch of dust at this point, but I don't actually go infinite in arenas or anything like that. So I don't have, I'm not at the point where it's like, oh, you get all this stuff from just playing over and over, and I play only free to play. I did shell out money for one of the adventure quests at one point. That's pretty much it. The rest of this has just been a slow process of building cards over time, and it's easy to do that when you enjoy the game, which I do. This week, new expansion, Knights of the Frozen Throne, and with it, they've given everyone a free legendary card. I received Frostlich Jaina from opening packs, which is an awesome hero card. I also received Pestilent Malfurion, or Malfurion the Pestilent, I think he's called. Let's see if there he is. So, these are two different hero cards. I'm not going to take the time to explain how Hearthstone is played. I feel like most of my audience probably knows, and those who don't will be likely to look it up or learn. If there is an interest in me doing something a bit more general, how to play kind of style, let me know. I'm happy to put that in as well. For the time being, I've been theory crafting good mage elemental deck. See, we've got Frostlich Jaina. Frostlich Jaina is a 9-drop, so she can't be played until the late game. When she gets reasonable buffer against just dying for having almost skipped your turn 9. Once she's down, she starts generating lots and lots of value with Icy Touch and with any other elemental damages that you have in the deck. So with that in mind, my thought process was, how do you survive long enough to play Frostlich Jaina? Yes, how do you survive long enough? What mage style do I know survives a long time? And that reminded me of Frosty J. Frosty J is... well, again, I only have a few of the cards for it, so this is a bad example, really. But Frosty J basically is built around the idea that you cast... come on, I've got it somewhere here. Ice Block. Which says, when you take fatal damage, prevent it and become... you also have a series of Cones of Cold, freeze 3 minions, and deal a pittance of damage, as well as Blizzards. I think I cut the Blizzards, actually, but Blizzards to freeze the board further, and, oh yes, Frost Nova to freeze the board even further. Your job being, early game, use some Babbling books, which just add some extra spells and get some damage, some Mana Worms, Coin, Medivh's Valet, possibly some Frostbolts, possibly not, just land some damage to the face. Otherwise, you are drawing aggressive, using Sorcerer's Apprentice to make Arcane Intellect cheaper, or Cold Light Oracle to give you more cards. The idea being to draw into your stall cards. Early game, some face damage. Mid game, stall out the board. And late game, Fireball, Leroy Jenkins, 5, 10, 16, 22, 28 face damage, not factoring in all the other stuff you've done. In theory, this is enough to land a kill. And your opponent will have the whole board filled with minions and be attacking your face constantly, but he won't be able to do anything because you chain Ice Blocks. You play Ice Block, then you Frost Nova the board, then you play another Ice Block, then you play Primordial Glyph to get another Ice Block. Here's the problem. I lack a lot of these cards. I lack Primordial Glyph. I don't have any of them. I don't have... come on. I'll show you what I don't have. I don't have Meteor, which is a great remove. I don't see Ice Block here, but I only have one Ice Block. I would need two. Um, and Pyroblast is a great finisher, which I don't have, which means playing down your Medivh for 7/7 with a big spell, again, becomes less useful. So yeah, I'm missing a lot of core cards in that sense. But of them, the most important is probably the second Ice Block, and Primordial Glyphs for the third and fourth Ice Block, possibly Kabbalist's Tomb. Instead, to make do and just kind of play this style, what I've done is I've included lots of cards that give me random stuffs. So for example, I initially included, let's see if I can find it here. Yes, I have Shimmering Tempests, so I get random mage spells there. I have Babbling Books, so I get random mage spells there. But a random mage spell is a lot worse than Discover a mage spell for my purposes. And I don't have the Tomb, so again, meh. But that was my thoughts. If you stick Frostless Jaina into a shell like this, suddenly you're all set up because you already have a stall engine designed to have the board frozen for her, so you play her on turn 9, worst case scenario you get killed, and then you start clawing your way back to full life because you have life. Good in concept. In practice, this fell flat for multiple reasons. First, you don't always survive that long. Second, I'm missing a lot of cards that I need to make that work. Third, the only element deck are my Shimmering Tempests, and that's it. So the whole lifesteal on Elemental synergy really only plays off of her ability, which lets her create a few extras, and that doesn't happen all the time, so not as good as I thought. That's when I decided to try and tweak this formula. Same concept with the Survival Shell. So you see the Frost Nova, the Ice Block, but we're going to hedge towards Elementals, so a couple Tar Creepers, Elementals with a decent 3, 4, 5 progression to them. Flame Strike to help clear the board, because I do care about the board being cleared. Blizzard to keep the board frosted. At this point, I'm running 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sources of freezing. So running a 2-mana Shatter, destroy a frozen minion, is not unreasonable. Because I was like trying to pack more value into this. And again, you'll notice that 1, 2, 3, 4 spell generation, just a hope. But this deck has the advantage of running the Steam Surger into Flamegeister into Firefly synergies to just give me a lot of added value, and Servant of Kalimos to let me luck sack into good cards. This shell had a little more success, but not a lot. Another Elemage is a slight modification of the same, using the last as a base, and this is what I'm running currently. I've got 2 Babbling Brooks, an Arcanologist to pull my Ice Block, Flamegeisters, Frostbolts, Shimmering Tempests, these are all to generate value and survive the early game. A Singleton Coldlight Oracle, and I'll explain why mid-game. Igneous Elemental, Tar Creepers, something to grow off of my... This honestly is just good for stats. It's a 4-mana 5/5 most of the time, because Ice Block doesn't get popped until the end of the game anyway. A couple Fireballs, because never bad, and the same 4/5 Elemental synergies. What is missing from this deck? Well, all we have to do for that is search my uncrafted Elementals cards. Apart from the glyphs that I discussed before, Pyros is notably missing. A 2/2, 6/6, 10/10 Elemental would be fantastic for this deck. Baron Geddon is missing. An AoE 2 damager, which when it is pinned with lifesteal heals every turn. Fantastic for me. And, most importantly, 7 mana 6/6 with 5 damage that counts as elemental damage. Critical piece, all missing. So I really want to get those going. Ozaruk I could take or leave, not as important. This is another one that I've considered including, a 6 mana 8/8. It freezing itself every other turn is a huge hindrance, because it comes at a time I really need a beat stick. But it is something I've considered, and maybe will end up cutting some of my early game for a little more. Really a fun deck. Alright, well that's about enough yammering. Let's play around with it and see how it goes. Again, this is very new. I've played this deck less than 5 times, so a lot of potential change coming to it. I could play it in ranked, I guess. Nah, I'll just play casual. Honestly, right now I faced off against a lot of Warlocks, and I do think Warlock has this deck's number, but then again, I've won those matches, so maybe not. you're very dependent on drawing Jaina, the Frost Queen Jaina. That is the most win or lose thing about the deck. Not counting, of course, being up against Hyper Echo.
Jaina versus Jaina.
As much as I would enjoy this match in general, I feel like I would be better served playing against a non-mirror matchup. No offense, madam, but I don't want to do a mirror match right now. Because think of it this way, my deck is missing all of the mage cards it needs to do a good mage mirror matchup. And their deck probably will have them. I do have the dust to craft it, I just don't know if I want to commit 3,000 dust or whatever for a deck that honestly is just for fun right now instead of what I'm going to climb ladder with.
Jaina versus Morgul.
This is potentially disastrous, because this tends to be Evolved Shaman, but I will play it because this is at least more of what I was asking for, a real match. No minions equals no go. I don't like this hand at all. This is a mid-game card, this is a flex card that I don't want early, this is a mid to late game card. And I'd rather draw a card now for free than draw 2 cards for 3 mana. So, give me a babbling book. Yay! I got a book! And I've got a turn 2. Turn 1 and 2, that makes me happy. There's a lot of things that we could get here. We'll see how things go. I drew Frost Queen! I've gone whole games where I never draw the Frost Queen, and they're very sad. The fact that I have her in hand is very comforting for me. It means that we will get to see this deck go off, or die early. And it looks like we are up against Evolved Shaman. 2 choices here. I either play the 2-drop, and he trades out his board for it, or I zap from hand and keep the value. I'm okay with this. I'll get my secret this way. I only have 1 secret in the deck, so this is perfect. If he trades out his weapon, I'm happy. Perfect. I get Igneous Elemental on an almost empty. Now we have to think. If I play Igneous Elemental now, I don't necessarily have an activator for Servant of Kalimos on 4. It's very important for me to activate Kalimos, and it's going to be important to stay on curve with my 5-drop. He doesn't have a board, so I don't hurt myself leaving the board empty a turn longer. I think let's gamble that he doesn't have Eater of Secrets at all in this thing. Oh, I mistaked! I could have coined it out. That would have been better. 3-drop Kalimos. He's gonna have Evolve, but this might have forced him to play those. What? I don't think I've ever seen that card. He probably just picked up a cheap card that he didn't want. Okay, so now we've kind of boxed ourselves in here. Igneous Elemental is fine. I could coin out the Flamegeister and clear the board, but I'm honestly okay with keeping the coin for later. If I can get a turn 8 Frostlich Jaina, that might be even better for me. So we'll keep the coin. He can show me more cards to remove this. That's totally good. Oh, he got a free evolve. Oh, that's bad. Oh, that's game-losingly bad. I'm gonna take 14, 18, 20 damage to the face. I can't really do much about it either. I think at this point I have to miss my activation on Kalimos. I think I lose too much if I let all this hit. I really want to activate Kalimos, but I think that I shouldn't. If I'm actually trying to win here, then that's the wrong play. We need to minimize the damage I take. So we'll do that and that. The only other question is... Well, there is no other question. I just let it go. If this could have died, then I could have still activated Kalimos next turn. But no. That's gonna happen. There's nothing I can do about it. Ain't nothing I can do about it. There are a lot of cards in my deck that help here. If I draw them. I didn't draw them. I'm gonna take 4, 8, 13, 18. I'm gonna take exactly lethal next turn. If I can delay that 1 turn, that would be very good for me. So I'm gonna have to burn the Frostbolt early. So 3, 2, coin, shoot him is a possibility. I mean, honestly, this is... I don't want to say an unfair game that I didn't have a shot at. Okay, do I freeze his board? I don't think I do, not yet. If I freeze his board now, what does that buy me? It buys me one more turn to try to draw a Blizzard.
I wonder.
A Blizzard helps a lot. A Flame Strike doesn't help that much. I don't need that many turns, actually. And if Jaina drops, I'm not back in necessarily, but I'm a little more in than I was otherwise. Let's just do that for the time being. This does buy me a turn. That's important.
Tonight, a tale of true terror.
Perfect. Exactly what we needed. Once again... No! The Flame Strike would have been perfect. Did I math wrong? I must have math wronged. And not factored in that possibility. Well, here I'm dead. If I was on 8, I could play Frost Queen Jaina. He could kill me all he wants, but then I would leave again. And I would have the ability to lifesteal up a little bit and freeze things and possibly Blizzard and get back in this. But without all of that, I'm pretty... Let's coin, draw, elemental, and spell roulette. Here is to let him pop me, and then see where I'm at next turn. That's the correct play. Let's give him a well played. He correctly left me as little help as possible. There are very few cards that I could even get here that help. This would have been perfect if I had an extra copy of my secret, but I don't. So I think here I just concede.
Well played. You win.
So that's what happens when Doppelgangster goes off perfectly and burned their own Flame Strike. But if I do want to point out, I had 2 Blizzards. If I had drawn a Blizzard, I freeze his board again, take 0 damage, and then next turn I go Frostlich Jaina. There's nothing he can do to stop me from doing that, and I get a free 3/6 with lifesteal. It doesn't mean I win, but it's still a game. We'll queue up one more. Because I do want you guys to see this deck in action.
Jaina!
This is another one that's likely to end poorly for me. He has the ability to go face very aggressively. I do not have good defense against that. My first 4 turns are probably the weakest. I need to draw... Oh! This is what I need to draw. Babbling Book, Flame Geysers, and means of suppressing his board play. So this is actually a reasonable hand for me to counter him with. Multiple Kalimoses. It's going to be important to be ready for... Oh, perfect. That's actually a good turn 2 play if that isn't. I want to develop this if possible. But no, this is just a better play. So many good plays. I feel like the importance of... So normally I would just play this without thinking twice, but I lose a mana doing that. This would be even better. Problem is if you leave him a 1/1, he might adapt it and get a...
What to do?
Arcane Missiles has a 1 in 3 chance of hitting both of them. This is embarrassing, but I think this is actually the best play. I know it looks like I lose a lot of money doing that, but I mean, I'm 2/3 of the time this doesn't hit both of them. If this doesn't hit both of them, this ends up being a play that saves me a card. There you go. And this lets me kill his minion and kill the thing that spawns from his minion. almost always succeeds. And again, same logic, leave him with no minions. The only problem here is by not playing this, I don't have my trigger for that just yet. But I'm okay with going a little slower against a hunter here, to be honest with you guys. If he can't get out his big drops, then I'm happy. There, see? That could have been any number of scary things. Instead, it's just a wolf. Let's go ahead and power up my elemental triggers now. And do this, just so that this becomes an even trade. If he decides to trade. Next turn I drop Kalimos, presumably. He is going face, which he should. So he's kind of more on the face plan, which is good for me, I guess. I will discover a Kalimos-able minion. Steam's probably best here. I'm gonna go value. I'm gonna be playing one big minion every turn. He can't keep up with that rate vector. Something good, something... Syndragosa is okay. Syndragosa is actually pretty okay for me. I can trade, and then Syndragosa whatever I need. Presumably. If he goes face here, I know what he's up to. Yep, he is straight up going face this game. So I need to think in terms of slowing down my face from getting crushed. I'm gonna need... that. Exactly that. Let's go Steam Surge. What's best here? Unlock big minion. Kill big minion. He can get off another 7 out of hand, and then I start just controlling the board for the rest of the game. If he has a couple kill commands, I'm in bad shape. Did not see that coming. So now he's going for value, instead of going for face. Hey, if you want to clear the board and go late game with me, be my guest. I will tango and dance with you all day. Let's get another Kalimos hit. While I still can. Let's take Flame Phoenix, because that will help me keep the board clear. And let's play out some value on the board. I'm in a medium shape right now. This is the turn that I most need to draw Frostless Jaina. But unfortunately, I have no way of forcing that. And this is what I was going to tell you guys earlier. With 20 cards in the deck left on turn 9 in general, you're going to have about 50-50 shot of drawing her. If you don't draw her, that's really bad for you. And every turn you have to delay with lesser resources is a turn that you're burning through your resources waiting for her. So that really sucks. Okay, are you going to go face? You are going to go face. Piece of shit. He's crafted a good Zombeast. I don't know what it is, but I'm sure it's good. Let's go draw first, and then play a card. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm okay here. I can't really play this, though, because I need to empty my hand a little. I guess I can. The only thing that I worry about is if he got a minion with charge in his hand. Yeah.
You want to cast a spell? I want to cast a spell.
Oh, that's beautiful. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Perfect.
To battle!
Alright. You don't have any more board clears, because you're a hunter. You could get a giant poisonous pain in the ass. Yep, this is his Zombeast. Let's see what he got. If it's a stealth, poison. Adapted for maximum carnage. So when he does attack with that, I'm just dead as I stand. This is gonna have to be dealt with ASAP. Let's get a new spell. That's a possible out. So, thoughts. 12 damage to the face is a lot. And that's probably what he's gonna go for. I don't have my secret, which means I am vulnerable to just dying here. If I Blizzard, I clear the board and freeze it and bring it down to 3, and then this only needs to hit once. That's probably the best play. I could also Syndragosa so that it goes down to 1, but I don't have any means of dealing just 1 damage, so that's not a big deal. Then we just go face with everything else. Also, Syndragosa next turn. If this misses, I can hit with that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yep, I did the math right. So, let's see what your next Zombeast is going to be, Jerkface. We're still not seeing Jaina, but imagine Jaina dropping here. I immediately play it and I heal for 12. Oh, this is bad, bad, bad for me. Oh my god, and suddenly it becomes much better. If I Jaina here, I think I can take 12 damage and not care. That's how good Jaina-ing here is. But I don't even have to. It's even better, because Syndragosa still hits.
Here goes who will.
So we're gonna immediately trade out the board, I guess. And much as it pains me, instead of trading these 3, I think I trade this 1, trade that 1, and then Syndragosa.
To battle! So is now.
I'm almost at full health. I have a dominating Icy Touch. And I summoned a lot, so now we get to have some fun. He trades out the board very wisely. He better trade that one too, if I get an extra 3/6 off of it. Yep, he knows what to do. What? Of all the luck. Well, now I'm a little bit less worried about this. But I should still try and get rid of it, and this is the right way to do it. And yes, I have all sorts of lethal right now. I kinda just want to have some fun with it, though.
This heart is yours.
So, that's the Ice Mage deck working correctly, and you'll notice the moment my ability drops, I immediately bounce back. So the idea of, imagine if I had drawn either my Archmage or, my Secret Finder or one of the 2 copies of Ice Block, in this case I only have 1, but you know what I mean. At that point, boom, not only do they have to kill me, them killing me even isn't enough. I would say cuts and trades that need to happen for this deck. Another page. I think that this body is less valuable than the random spell he gives, so I would probably replace these with the, primordial glyphs. I think the Archaeologist is probably okay where it is. I don't think I need this many Flame Geysers. I use this to control the early game, but I would much rather just have an extra ice block, so I could stall that way. Cold Light Oracle is just me desperately having cards that help me find Jaina faster, but I don't know that that's necessary. I think I'm better served coming up with a game plan that's resilient than trying to dig for my win con. So I would probably cut Cold Light Oracle as well in that situation. This might also be a bit superfluous, I'm not sure. Syndragosa herself, the 8-drop, I'll show it to you guys who don't know what I'm talking about. I don't think this is worth it. 8 mana 8/8 with 2 0/1s, even with the 0/1s being killable for further value, there are better 8-drops. For example, the Frost King himself, that's not him. The Lich King himself, 8 mana 8/8, who gives you Frostmourne, or gives you kill an enemy for like 2 mana, or gives you all sorts of other great abilities, and protects your board, is huge. The ideal card to play in this situation is Ragnaros, but he is a wild card. He is not in standard. Because at 8 mana... Damn it, where is it? Okay, whatever. At 8 mana, you drop Ragnaros, and they can't do anything. Sorry, he's an elemental who deals 8 damage. Then at 9, you Jaina. They've probably busted a lot of resources getting rid of your elemental. Not so impressed with Zaruk, because I don't play many elementals per turn necessarily. That's about all I've got to say about that. There are a lot of little changes to make. The big ones should be a second ice block is a must. Primordial glyphs are much better than 2/1s, even though they have the elemental tribal on them. Fun fact about this polymorph is that it sheepifies the minion, and then the 1/1 minion is perfectly killable with your brand new hero power. So that synergy has actually helped me milk a lot of endgame value. I get a lot of Flame Geisters between Steam Searcher and Servant of Klemos. You guys have seen me run out of space in my hand once and have to really count cards twice. So it's quite possible that one of these should get cut, and in its place go something that helps me survive to the endgame a little bit better. I like 2 Blizzards, and 1 Flame Strike is probably plenty. I like a Frost Nova, but I might be wrong about this. I can't be sure right now. Frost Nova might not be as good as I think it is. There's times where it's the out that I'm looking for. On turn 8, you drop a Frost Nova and play something that affects the board a little bit more. And then on turn, or alternative Frost Nova plus play your secret if you haven't played it yet. And then on turn 9, you play Frostlich Jaina, and they attack into you, and it doesn't matter because even if they kill you, you can survive it with the spell you played. Frost Nova as a means to allow you to summon Jaina in peace is kind of critical. I think that's about it. Oh, right. There's one other card that bears saying, and that's Doomsayer. When you're running this much freeze, it's not unreasonable to run some Bang as well to get rid of it all. But what do you know? I've already told you guys about Baron Geddon, but he's another worthy include. That's all. Thank you so much for watching. If there's more interest in seeing more of my Hearthstoniness, I'm more than happy to share. I run the usual dumb stuff, Pirate Warrior, try to climb the ladder, Smork the Orc. I'm much more happy with my Murloc Paladin, which is a more interesting deck to be sure. I think I call it Murlocky. And we can talk about this whenever. I did craft Tyrion eventually, so I'm very happy with that. And I've got enough dust to craft at least one interesting deck, so huzzah! Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys next time!